Hey everyone, Temporal here, and this is actually a part two, but we'll be seeing the full game again. For the first part, we did the full review of this bronze game from Toby's perspective, and for this second part, we are doing a full review from Becky's perspective, who is currently on Lucio, though I think ends up playing some tank as well. So if you enjoy this, feel free to go back and watch the other part. If you watch the other part and are now watching this, that's fantastic. Uh, cool. Also, for those of you that are looking for coaching, you can join my Discord in the description below, and that will show you my raids, let you connect with some other people, etc. Or if you are just here to watch the content, love having you here. That's great too. Please do like and subscribe if you're, really enjoying the content and feel it warrants that. Thanks. So the first thing I'm going to say is that I don't like your choice of hero here. This is a poke hero. This is a poke hero. This is a poke hero that's sometimes okay brawling. This is a hero that enables poke better than anything else, and this is a poke hero. This is a hero that is primarily set to enable brawl. Lucio's most valuable thing is this right here, his speed. His speed is probably his most valuable thing. That's what made him a must pick for so long in Overwatch's history, because speed is really, really valuable. But speed is less valuable to an Orisa Sigma poke comp than it is to, say, a Rein Zarya brawl comp, or to a comp that has, say, a Reaper and a Mei, something like that. Those heroes want to be able to move fast, want to be able to close distance, want to be able to rotate well, etc. Now, this comp still gets some advantage out of being able to rotate well, and Lucio helps with those rotations. So, like, if they get dove by, we don't know the enemies yet, but if they get dove by these three, Lucio can help amp speed to pull them back. So if the dive lands, let's do this. We've actually seen this game, so we know where the dive lands. But if a dive lands here, and this is where your team is, you can amp speed to rotate your whole team backwards, and your team can continue poking at them, and that's pretty good. But overall, not great with these heroes. Orisa has a little rotational trouble because of how her shield works, where she puts it and it's kind of stuck there, etc. Lucio helps with that. Lucio helps all these characters rotate a little bit, so that's not terrible. But really, a better hero to enable these guys would probably be a BAP. If we're looking to play a healer right now, probably BAP is going to do the most, or a Zen. A BAP or a Zen is going to do more to help this team than a Lucio is. It's going to contribute more poke, can throw down, say, an immortality field when they get dove, or can throw out that discord, which lets them get a limbs faster, can put out a lot of poke pressure themselves. That said, one Lucio. Lucio is going to provide some value. That value, however, is helping the team kite and rotate away from, the Reinhardt that pushes from the front, or these guys when they dive on us, etc. Cool. So.
Observe the barrier. Begin the experiment.
So you can just boop him out. Okay, that's fine. So you went for a boop there and you were just a little too far away. That's fine. So during the poke phase, being in healing aura like this is correct. You hear a tracer behind you, and it's actually your job to deal with that. It actually isn't behind you, it's right here. But you're the one who wants to turn and deal with flankers, or turn and deal with flankers pretty much immediately, because you not shooting forward at, an advancing tank or something is the least decrease in effectiveness. You can go challenge this tracer. Shoot at him, boop him out. If you boop him out, he does a lot less damage. All that good stuff. You sort of want to be playing sweeper or foxguard. You're guarding your team from the flankers, doing the best you can to go, nope, I'm going to take this fight with you. Even if you're not really likely to get the limb on Tracer, it's kind of hard for him to deal with you too, so you kind of do a good job of tying him up without being too likely to go down to him yourself as Lucio. So you're the first line of defense sort of against flankers. Turn around. You saw he's behind you. Okay, and now you should be amping speed backwards, actually. Your team should be backing out from this, not, and you aren't really looking to heal your Orisa right here. If you see your Orisa's the only one really missing health, you're much better bet. You don't heal tanks for very much as Lucio, even with amp, it's not fantastic. You're much better off amping speed so that your Orisa can back away faster. That's going to save her more health than healing. If you're healing health that Reinhardt is immediately removing with his hammer faster than you can heal it, that doesn't do a ton of good. If you amp speed, however, that lets your Orisa get away and stay away longer, so Rein gets less hammer swings on him. So your Orisa may still be missing health at the end of amp speed, but you'll have done more for her in this situation. You don't need to be in front of your team. There's an Orisa behind you that probably has a shield down. Yeah. Stay back with your Orisa, and if you have to, you would want to be pushing out this Tracer so that this Tracer can't do clean work on your Mercy. That's what you'd be liking to do right now. You can't really boop a Reinhardt from the front. You need to, it doesn't matter. That's fine. You can boop him to the side, hard under the wall so he doesn't catch you, but that's fine. We wanted you on the Tracer in the first place. So you actually can do some good Lucio taxi work right here. I don't think I think you amped too early. Like, there's more people on your team who went down who would have liked your help to get back here. Yeah, you're just going to need a little more practice. I think that's 3 or 4 boops that you've used where you've used them when you're out of range. So Lucio's boop range is a little bit shorter than you think, and you're not getting value out of it. So just a little bit of practice. Do it a couple times and you'll get it. Booping the monkey unfortunately doesn't do all that much because the monkey has a 1.5, 2-second cooldown on leap when he's in primal like that. So booping him when he's jumping in normal monkey form, that's great because he's like, oh shoot, I can't go anywhere for 5 seconds and this isn't where I wanted to land and now your Orisa gets to poke me. So that's good, but booping him when he leaps in with primal, he has his leap back pretty much immediately. If you boop him before he lands, you can still deny him landing damage, so it's not worth, but it's not a priority. So yeah, there you go. Push out those flankers. Back on the Sombra. Back on the Sombra. Okay. Sombra, you can fight the Sombra. You can do it. Okay, you just leave. Go get the health back. Okay. You wanted to potentially speed over to the health back there if it wasn't taken. If you just stay on heal, like, the monkey can keep up with you and he will out-zap your heals. So you do need a little bit of speed to get away from him or some wall riding to get the acceleration from that.
Oh, now that's more like it. On my way. You feel that?
You don't need to be in front of your team like this. At all, really. Like, if your team's back here, you don't need to be in front. You can be back here, etc. You want to sort of be able to have a better grasp of where your team is so you can figure out which aura you need to do. If, you're like here-ish and a monkey jumps in, you can push forward and boop him right before he lands to mess him up a bit, but you don't need to, in general, be in front of your team to be taking shots like this.
Oh, this is my jam.
Your team did need that amp. They were already full health. Amp's a pretty big cooldown to waste. It matters a lot. Amp speed is really good. This isn't really helping. Yep. Okay, so that's you getting punished for being in a place that you didn't need to be. If you did want to help your diva get out, the trick was to wall ride on this. Wall ride puts you at a different height than people are used to shooting at usually, and also you go a bit faster when you're wall riding, and you could have wall rode across like this and finished up here, been much safer, but you also would have done generally speed, not heals, to help get your diva out. I know your diva's low, you're thinking, I gotta heal my diva, but you really don't heal tanks very much as Lucio. So instead, you prevent more damage to them by getting them out faster with speed. You can use amp heals on tanks between fights, like when the entire enemy team is in spawn, that's fine, but... Oh, Zen, okay.
Is without form.
So now you're going like full poke, and I like it. Okay, you got the Discord Orb on her fast, that's good. I don't like this a ton, because I think, well, okay. I guess there is no one left behind you, so this is a great place to be. Never mind. Yeah, so great was perhaps an exaggeration, but you want to be in places where you have cover that you can use. You don't want to drift out into the open like this. When you're in the open like this, if someone starts shooting at you, you can't go, oh, I'm going to hide behind cover. Cover's nice for you as Zen because 3/4 of your life is shields, and if you don't take damage for 3 seconds, you recover shields. And that's really cool, so you can go take shots at someone, you hit them once or twice, they hit you a bit, you get down to 100 health, you got them down to, I don't know, 150 health, you go behind cover for 3 seconds, and you recover, you know, you start recovering that health, and then once you've got more health, etc., you can peek again, and then you're back at 200, and they're still at 150 or whatever the case may be. And you've got some more advantages where you can see people that you've discorded, you can see where your discord is even when you're behind cover, so that's pretty cool too, because it's the situation where if I go behind cover, I have a pretty good idea of where you are, but you don't know exactly where behind the cover I am, because your discord will stay on them for 3 seconds. So Zen really likes his cover, and I recommend it.
Ready for battle.
And now Sigma, and I think from the first part that Sigma is who you play for more of this match, so we'll put some more focus on this. But for your Lucio, who you mostly played there, you don't need to be in front of your team and think more about using speed. You're less about the healing and more about speed, because speed really is the value in Lucio's kit. Which isn't to say you can never heal, but look for excuses to use speed. Good. I'd be worried about that fair throwing a boob. I'd put a shield between you and that fair specifically for a boob. Yep. So go take high ground. Unless your diva's on high ground, you want to go take high ground. You guys want to be playing different angles. Your diva's got that one. Your diva's got that one, so exactly, your barrier goes this way. Okay, and you want to push into this. Your diva just committed to this fight, so you don't need to like hard push forward, but you want to be taking this fight. Okay, now your diva's leaving. So really you want to have your rock available when you're playing in Sigma mirrors like you are to break his shift, which you see sort of, that's a bad shot of it, which you see him using there. So you want to be careful about using your shift for other things. Your shift you can use to finish people off, but you don't just want to use for generic damage most of the time. You want to use your shift because it has the ability to stun people, and that can stop things from going off. So stunning a Pharah out of her ult, or stunning your Mirror Sigma is going to come up a lot where he wants to use his shift, that's the ball in front of his hand, and you want to stun him out of it. So you want to actually push forward. You guys have a numbers advantage right now, and their spawns are in different places. See how someone just spawned, you can see in the replay, spawned back and far. So you have like a 6v3 right now. You'd like to push across this bridge, and you can do so with your shift. So push deep into them with you and your team with your shift. You don't need to just wait here poking behind the cart. Okay, well, if the Lucio's going to come, you can just deal with the Lucio. And yeah, using your stun here is fine. Your rock. You can push this. Yep. Good. Rocky is also good for, you know, getting those more mobile characters like Lucio and Ball. More Ball, but Lucio works. You D.Va took high ground, so you can play from here. That's fine. Oh, that's unfortunate. So you saw your D.Va was sort of out hanging on her own here, so it would have been worth it to throw your shield up there to try to get some protection for her. Not a big deal, though. You hear that, McCree, above you? Yeah, there you go. Shield, 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 shield. He's going to look for a flash. Okay. You wanted to put your shield into that fight because your team was going to handle him pretty quick, so your shield wasn't going to lose a bunch of health. You don't want to put your shield there, though. Your shield's not doing enough. Pull it back, pull it back. Oh, you lost your shield. You want your shield blocking temporary threatening abilities, like flashbang or concussive shot, like we talked about earlier. So that's fine, you just didn't see her. Shift was a good thing to use in that situation, but you needed to find the Pharah faster, and she was above you. Yep. So if your D.Va's playing on that angle, you could come play on this angle. And that creates a nice little wedge situation where they go, do I shoot this way or do I shoot this way? Do I shoot this way or do I shoot this way? Okay, I'll shoot this way. And then D.Va shoots them in the side. Or I'll shoot this way and then you shoot them in the side. And it's great. You guys should take advantage of that. Especially since you're in comms grouped together with your tanking partner here. You guys should have easy time setting up cross angles like that. And then if they'd pushed out here, that's fine. You just go back here, and you're threatening from this side, while your D.Va pushes up here and is threatening from this side. You see how that works? Like, if they push you, you just continue to rotate back. That's what you're looking to do. So now they don't have a Sigma anymore, so you'd be looking to stun out ultimates. Like you can block, you can cancel a Covalescence with your rock, you can cancel Whole Hog with your rock, you can also cancel Take a Breather, so when the hog goes like that to heal with rock. So those are things that you'll be looking for. Shift, good. Okay, no big.
Stardust to stardust.
My ultimate's ready.
Bedankt. Back to me.
I don't really like that shield deployment. It's a far enough out there shield that it lets extra people shoot at it who couldn't really shoot at you. So you're letting them, instead of getting no value because they can't do anything because you're not in their line of sight, you're giving them a shield to shoot at, which is actually some value to them because it means you'll have less shield later. I also think you're early. See this? Your Reaper's sort of with you, keeping up. Your D.Va's here, that's good. But your Junkrat's over here, and in 2 more seconds, he'll be much more dangerous. So you're early. And lastly, your McCree, who has an interesting cape phenomenon going on, is still back here in spawn. So you're pushing into a 5v5 because they're missing a player, but it's generally worth it to go, okay, well, let's try and take a 6v5. You know, if that player's going to stay DC'd for another 30 seconds, we could get a 6v5, and that could be huge. So you generally want to let your whole team be there before you push in. Okay, and now you're down effectively 2 people, so they're up in a 5v4. Back out at least until your McCree gets here. That's gonna hurt. Lucio bipped him out. That saved you. You don't have shift. This is gonna hurt. Okay, so that was just a timing issue. You were pushing when your team wasn't ready.
The power of destruction.
No, that wasn't right at all.
Let's get patched up.
So this is good. You're pushing, you're shooting from this side. Your McCree was working from this side. Your Reaper's working from this side. You want to get the timing where you can sort of all strike at once, but forming this concave around them is really powerful if you can get the timing right. That self-destruct is early. I guess it's okay to be this side. I can live with that, but we've lost our Reaper. This is probably a back out. Your timings just aren't quite lined up. And that's a good improvement. I see you finished your grasp. That's a good improvement from last time. You finished your grasp in a place where cover was immediately available to you if you wanted it. So, good adjustment there. You don't need to be playing this far in the open in general. You can actually play closer to this wall. The way Sigma works, where there's that sort of delay in his reload time from shots, means you can go peek, throw 2 shots, close angle, and let the little reload thing where he regenerates the orbs to throw happen while you're behind cover. Then peek, throw 2 more, go back behind cover, or rotate up here and throw 2 orbs, go back behind cover while you regenerate 2. Throw 2 orbs, go back behind cover while you do the regeneration thing. You don't need to play in the open quite like this. And honestly, this is probably the worst way to push this point. It's okay with me. It's been okay with me because you have other people pushing other directions. So you're forming a spread on them. But if you can go up here, that's better. Not when your D.Va's here. If you can go here, that's better. This can be better. Like, all of these are better than trying to push uphill like this. But if you're taking a different angle than your D.Va, I'm okay with you using this press. But, you know, there's a Reinhardt behind you. Push him, push him. This is good, because now you're fighting him where his team can't help him as easily. They're going to take a couple seconds to get to him, and you get to keep chasing him and fighting him 2v1. You should run up. You're... Okay. Now you have to back out. He's got to help. Yep. Shift to the right. Shield. Barrier. Barrier. Okay, not a big deal. So generally it's good to pretty much immediately deploy your barrier to block any like instant hooks or flashbangs that come out. Then you recall it. Then you look to redeploy it when you think they might use one of those abilities if they didn't use it right off the bat. Because those are the sort of the most important things that you're looking to block.
Activating the barrier.
Enemy seen.
The signal must move.
You can hit charges. Hitting charges with your rockets is bad. They're pretty predictable. Good. Yeah, good. And you use that to take an aggressive angle. That was nice. You can push forward. You don't need to stay on the cart. The cart doesn't move much faster by having 3 people on it compared to 1. It does move faster with 3 than 1, but the first person gives it like a base speed, and adding a second person only increases that base speed by like a third. And same with the third person. So your Diva's playing this angle, so I want you to rotate over here and start threatening them from over here. That's way more annoying to them. It goes past the Rein shield. It makes the Rein pick which side he's going to go at. If you're willing to get a little aggressive, you could actually potentially finish the Rein here. Peek here, throw up your shield so that you don't immediately get hooked, and then, you shoot him twice, and that's a big deal. And if he turns to block you, your team will finish him, no question. You see your McCree is trying to do the same thing, but he's sort of getting answered by the Hog and the Orisa. And if he's getting answered by the Hog and the Orisa, you're totally free to either finish the Rein or relieve pressure on him by shooting at the Hog and making the Hog turn, etc. That's better than too many of you being here shooting into the Rein shield. And again, you're on comms with your Diva, and I know you're on comms with the Diva. I know you guys duo queued and you're getting this review together, so you can definitely work with your Diva to be like, okay, I'm here. We're going to constantly be taking different angles from each other so that we can do this sort of pincer thing where they can't block us from both directions. And if you get pushed, you back out, and that's perfectly fine. If your Diva gets pushed, your Diva can join you over here and is relatively safe because you can protect each other.
60 seconds remaining.
You can rock that, rock that, rock that. Yeah! Rocked that too. Nice! Good rocks. Okay, so the biggest thing so far is going to be the angles that you're taking. Sometimes it's okay for you to play main if your Diva's playing other places, but you guys want to sync up your push timings a little bit better so that you're pushing at the same time. You got stalled at the beginning of third for quite a bit there because you were having stuff. And I know the rest of these are pugs that aren't in voice chat, but you got stalled up because people were threatening at different times. If you all sort of threaten at the same time, it's too much and they get overwhelmed. And it's much more powerful than you pushing from the same direction. But you can at least coordinate it with your tank, and that'll be your other tank, and that'll be great. And you can do the same thing, because it looks like you're both on Sigma and Diva again.
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2,
What is this
1.
power?
Attackers incoming.
Ash here.
Escort the payload.
Activating the barrier.
Redeploy the bear. Yeah, you want to make sure you're blocking out the boop attempt that the bear is going to look to make. Deal with the Lucio. Just close the angle on these guys so that you've got this physical wall between them, and then force out the Lucio. If he's going to leave, that's fine. But I suspect he'll be right back. Good. Got some nice rock accuracy. Okay, so you're on main here, which I don't particularly mind you being on main. You're the less mobile of the two tanks. But if that's the case, your Diva goes up here. If you weren't with a Diva, if you were with like a Reinhardt or an Orisa or something, I would want you going the long way to work your way up here so that you can threaten and do your work from up here. I hope that makes sense. It's generally going to, in most tanking combinations, it's your job to hold the important off-angle position. When you have a Diva as your partner specifically, Diva's more mobile, so you'll let Diva do it while you hold core.
30 seconds.
Throw two.
remaining.
Yeah, that! Okay, so I wanted you to stay behind cover a touch longer there to let your shots regen a bit, but that was the right pattern, where it's throw your shots, cover, let them regen, peek and throw your shots again, then back to cover. That rock was dangerous. The rock was dangerous because there's a Widow that has a sightline on you. You need to put your shield up if you're going to go for that against a Widow like that. So you don't have to babysit your card here, especially if your Diva's already doing it. You can rotate over to here so that you have a different angle. You could potentially transition up to here so that you have a different angle. Maybe even up to here. Like, look how annoying this would be.
Retrieving the barrier.
Okay, it looks like your Diva might have gone off for high ground now. So now what you want to do is you throw your shield up here while you help peel this Echo off of your Genji. You just throw your barrier here for just a second while you peel this Genji off. Or if you can peel the Genji off from behind here without having to use your barrier, that's better too. You might not be able to with where that echo is though, but you can bounce it off the wall and hit her. So yeah, step right here, bounce it off the wall and peel for your Genji. Yeah, perfect.
10 seconds remaining.
Shield, shield. Yeah, so Widow doesn't actually do that much damage if she hits body shots, but she's got a high headshot damage multiplier, so it's worth putting your berry up for Widows because since it's pretty low damage body shot, well, your shield doesn't have a head hitbox, your barrier doesn't have a head hitbox, so she's only going to do that low body shot damage to your barrier, so it's totally fine to go, nope, I'll let you do that to my barrier rather than to me where you could get a headshot while I poke you out with pretty meaningful damage. You're not worried about just a Widow doing that much damage to your shield. So, okay, so that was the right idea. You throw at him and then you want to hit him with a rock at the very end of his charge so that he's, before he's recovered so that he gets stunned for a moment longer there. Good. You're going to have to deploy... Well, okay, you can fight this. Not sure why you sent that shield quite so far forward, but that's okay. So you don't have Rock. That's unfortunate. Can't fight him. Now you're going to have to shield again. There's no D.Va. D.Va's not defense matrixing, and there's a Widow downscope that's doing work. So you need this shield up. You need this shield up, unfortunately, to block these Widow shots. Soldier's going to kind of chew through it, but you have to do it because otherwise the Widow's just going to clean up. What you really want to do is with this shield, use the fact that you have this shield here to put pressure on this Widow. You don't know this, but this Widow's got 40, 50 health. You can put this Widow out if you hit both of your shots, and not directly, even just explosions. This Widow will be gone. This Widow will be eliminated. If you hit one of the shots, or if you just shoot at the Widow, the Widow will go, ooh, I'm uncomfortable. I have to move. I have to relocate somewhere else, and that buys your team time to do stuff. So that's what you want to be doing with this shield. You really wanted to do that earlier, but that's what you need to do. That was way more important than the Moira on point. Was making the Widow either go down or die. Okay. So unfortunate. You see, the Widow got too much work done there because she stayed up. She ultimately got the elimination on you. She got an elimination earlier on someone else. And you're pretty good at contesting Widows, especially if they're not very far away like that one wasn't.
Initiating match. Ready.
Oh, now you're on Orisa. We've gone full circle. We started with Toby on Orisa for the first little bit here, actually, first point defense, and now we've got you on Orisa for first point defense at the very end. I like this more. Dodge it, dodge it. There's no reason for you to get hit by that fire strike. No reason. Leave, leave. You now should recognize your shield went down too fast. There's something big like a bastion over there, and you need to get behind hard cover. Hard cover. That halt doesn't do anything. Just put your halt on cooldown for 8 seconds. That team's not even trying to advance on you. You didn't even slow down their advance. Just leave, leave. Literally, they have to push the cart, right? And if they push the cart at all, the cart is going to get between you and Bastion, and then the Bastion has to move. So just leave until they push the cart at all, or the Bastion starts moving. You do not need to be poking at these guys. You could, from here though, turn and shoot at the Winston. That would be great. You're behind cover. You get to shoot at the Winston. You throw a halt at him when he tries to leave and stop him from leaving. You get the elim, and then you have your nice, not even 6v5, you have your nice 6v4. Like, totally deal with this Winston from behind cover. You do not need to be poking at a Bastion. Bastion wins those. Now that Bastion is moving, yeah, absolutely. I'd have preferred you be on the Winston because it would mean that Winston would be eliminated, but good, she got the Winston. Pressure on the Lone Widow is better than pressure on the Rein Shield. Halt the Rhinoff.
Sniper located.
See if you can halt the Rhinoff.
Stop.
Needed to be a little to the right. You want the halt to carry him. Yeah, you could totally halt the Rhinoff right here. A halt right here probably gets the Rhine. You can push up. Worth pushing up for two reasons. A, he's weak enough that you can get him in 2 melees and he can't kill you in 2 swings. B, you know that there's a Widow and a Bastion back here, and by pushing up here, you close the line of sight on them so that they can't see you. And you would much rather fight just him, because you'll eliminate him, than fight him and these three at the same time. You don't need to push. I know you have Fortify going. Bastion still out damages you if he transforms. Leave. Go left.
Get behind the barrier.
You actually don't want to deploy your shield because it instantly gets destroyed like that. You want to go back here and have your shield available, and you can throw down your shield if the Bastion's moving, or if the Winston comes up here. Like, it's better to have your shield for when the Bastion's moving, or have your shield to block the Widowmaker if she takes a different angle, than it is to throw your shield down in front of the Bastion, unless you have to get out. If you have to get out, that's fine, but you didn't. You could have just closed the angle. You should still close the angle. You're making your Mercy heal you here, and you shouldn't have to. You also probably just gave the Bastion a bunch of tank charge.
Barrier activated. Please move behind
So
the
you
barrier.
probably need to fortify because, yeah, good. You have to fortify because there's a Widow and you didn't have a barrier available to block this Widow. But you need to be leaving too. So, if you go here and fight from here, there's not much the Bastion can do. Because the Bastion would have to like walk up to here and set up, and he's just not going to be able to do that because you'll win. Like, it takes him too long to set up, etc. So like, you want to be playing from right here. That's not great. Usually Reinhardt is better than you at corners, so you don't like that, but that's the right play in this situation to force their Bastion into that situation. Like, you're better at poke than Reinhardt, so usually you go, I want long sight lines, he wants short sight lines, but their team is better than your team at poke right now, where they have the Bastion and the Widow, so you can't play for poke. You have to play more for close range, closed sight lines, brawly type stuff. Does that sort of make sense? Like, even though you're better than Ryan at poke, their team is better than your team at poke, so you go, okay, I guess I will brawl with this Reinhardt, with this Bastion, etc., and we'll take it, we'll make it so that the Bastion can't set up and do work. He has to walk right up here where he's in a ton of danger to set up, and then we'll immediately rush him.
On my way.
Teleporter helps. Wait. High ground is fine, but don't give yourself away. Don't give yourself away. You have plenty of time before you should crouch walk over here and just wait. Or you could force out this Widow, because I guess that's going to be a thing. You could try to beat her by halting and shooting immediately, and then hitting the halt, and then you could potentially get the elim. She only has 175 health, so that's very doable. But you don't actually want to fight this yet. You'd prefer they not know you're here. You'd prefer to eliminate this Widow. This is the much better thing. And then once you have your team actually ready to take this 6v5, actually ready to take a final engage, that's what you want to do. No. The cart is not this important. You're staggering yourself. You're thinking, oh, I'm going to go stop the cart. But that's not good, because they have way more people here than you. They're going to eliminate you within, 4 or 5 seconds. And then you might have other teammates come back, but you're not going to get enough teammates to win the fight if you keep re-entering 1 or 2 at a time like this, because they'll keep getting 5v2s. They'll get a ton more eliminations than you. They'll save up a bunch of ult charge while you won't be getting very much because you'll only do a little damage. They'll be getting tons of eliminations, and then they'll flood you with ults for that last team fight, which, by the way, you're not actually going to get a last team fight if you keep trickling like this. Definitely should have the Bastion, not the Lucio there. But, again, the real issue was you re-entered the fight.
Installing updates.
You almost certainly need to swap heroes to get back in time.
You are advised to see your resistance.
Ball, Tracer, something faster than Orisa. Orisa has no movement. I know you were close to bongos, but you're not going to get to use bongos.
I'm on fire!
I'm under attack. Push on.
Bongo in the corner. Bongo in the corner. Bongo right there. Okay.
For your own safety, get behind the barrier.
Fine. Fine. That shouldn't have gone how it did, but we'll take it.
Pump up the volume.
60 seconds. For your safety, please be behind the barrier.
That's good. You can shoot at him until he turrets.
Your resistance. Barrier activated.
You actually handled that mostly fine.
Oh, let's break it.
I mean, there's some positioning issues where you could have closed the angle on the Bastion faster once the Rhine was in so that their other group couldn't contribute, but that was mostly fine. And this you just have to feed into, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about Lucio. There, I want you to think more about using speed, and I don't want you in front of your team so much. Then we mostly played Sigma. And for Sigma, that's kind of your main hero, at least based on the previous review you did. Very good improvements on, well, I did see improvement on how you were using shift, how you were going, had cover available a bit more often. I do still want you in general playing a little closer to cover. You had moments, and I called one or two of them out, where you were playing near cover, so you could do I'm going to throw my 2 orbs, then I have cover available, then I can open the sight line back up to throw 2 more orbs, and that's good. But you had other times where you're kind of like the attack beginning of third, you were just kind of standing in the middle at the base of the hill rather than to the sides. And you don't need to stand in the middle. It just makes it harder for you to get behind cover if they push you hard, if they start shooting at you hard, etc. So do a bit more of that. Had some pretty good rock accuracy. What were we saying? And then I want you playing more angles, especially because you have a tank partner. You guys should be playing angles constantly, especially when you're on Diva Sigma like that. You two should almost never be on the same angle. You're threatening from different angles at the same time or near in unison, so they look at one of you and the other opens the angle and shoots, and then the other can close and this first one opens it, or you both open at the same time, so they're blocking your Diva shots and you shoot Reinhardt in the side. That's going to make you guys really powerful, like really powerful as a pair. If the two of you can understand that in bronze, you will run over the competition. If you can really get a hang of that in bronze, the understanding you two should be on separate angles, how to use those angles to threaten them, to be dangerous to them, etc. And then Orisa, good poke tank, yes, but you don't win poke into Bastion, so you want to always make Bastion move, always make him come around a corner so that he has to do that setup while you're getting to shoot at him, and then you can run in and actually try to win the brawl with Fortify if you have to, etc. And then finally, a more general thing, both you and the other person you're playing with are over prioritizing the cart. If the cart moves a little bit, that's fine. Let it move a little bit so that you can get 6 and take an actual team fight with 6. But biggest thing for the pair of you to climb and really be successful is going to be understanding how to use those angles when you're both playing tank, and then not just feeding onto cart quite how you are, actually get 6-man resets. And if it's bronze, no one's on comms, you can't get 6-man resets, you're going to go in or you're going to threaten when most of the rest of your team is doing it. So if your team is just feeding one at a time, you're going to go, oh, we caught a wave of 2 or 3 of them, now we'll go with them, and now it's a 5v6, which is still better than a 3v6 followed by a 2v6 followed by a 3v6 followed by a 4v6 followed by a 1v6. You're going to go, okay, a 5v6 is the best we can get. A 4v6 is the best we can get. But most of the time, I think you'll be surprised you can get a 6v6, even if it means you'll get less total 6v6s. You are way, way, way more likely to win a 6v6 than you are a, repeated 3v6s. Okay. I hope that helped. If you guys have questions, you can reach out to me on Discord. And for anyone else who's looking for coaching, you can join my Discord in the description below and see what my rates are, etc. For anyone who's just here watching the content, love having you guys here. If you think it's worth it, please do like and subscribe. It helps me keep doing this, and I really do enjoy doing this. Thanks. Temporal out.